Today we're going to talk about the difference between appellate and original jurisdiction. Remember, jurisdiction means the authority of a case, the authority of a court, rather, to hear a case. So it comes, as I said, from the Latin. Juris is court, diction is to say, so what court can say something about a case? Original jurisdiction simply means the first court to hear a case. So whatever the case is, the first court to hear it is going to be the court that has original jurisdiction, or the first say-so over the case. We're going to start with a look at the state court system in North Carolina. Okay? In North Carolina, for criminal matters, the district court is going to be the first court that most cases go to. The district court doesn't have juries, you just have a judge in the district court, and it's only for misdemeanors. So if it's a felony case, it would skip the district court in North Carolina and go straight to superior court. Even if you had a misdemeanor in district court, if you lose, if you don't like what happened, you have a right to then still go and have a trial at superior court level. So everybody has a chance in district court to try to get the charges dismissed in front of a judge. And if you don't like what happens at the district court level, you certainly have a right to take it to a jury trial, if you'd like, at the superior court level. So the superior court level for the state is the second level. All felonies start at the superior court level, and that's where your trials would be held. After that, you move on to the appeals court level. To appeal is to ask for another hearing, to ask a different court to hear your case again. So if you have lost, now the government can appeal, prosecution can appeal if they lose, and the defense can also appeal. If the person accused of the crime is convicted, they can ask the higher court to look at the case again, and that's called an appeal. In the state courts of North Carolina, the appeals court is called the circuit court, and they would consider the results of what happened at the superior court or the district court level to see if there were any mistakes made in the law, if the law was poorly applied. The Court of Appeals is going to be a panel of up to 3 judges that would work together, and each of those judges could write an opinion in the case, and the majority ruling would stand. After the appeals court level in North Carolina, it would go then finally to the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in North Carolina. Now, if you look at the federal court system, so moving out of North Carolina to the way this works in the federal courts, you start in the federal court with district court. Trials are held with juries in federal district court. And remember, federal district court would have jurisdiction over things like bank robberies, kidnappings, drug trafficking, things that cross state borders, things that would not be held just in state court. So you first have to determine state versus federal jurisdiction. If it's state jurisdiction, it stays over here. If it's federal jurisdiction, it would follow this process here. Beginning in federal district court, then there is a court of appeals. There are 13 circuits or regions of the country and in the federal system, and each of those 13 regions has a number of judges that work in that region, and they would hear cases in panels of 3 judges at a time. So you would have 3 judges on the Court of Appeals that would listen to a case and then decide what to rule. Finally, you have the Supreme Court, which we've talked about, where there are 9 justices, and the Supreme Court rulings are binding on the appeals court. So if the Supreme Court decides something, appeals court and district courts have to follow it. If the appeals court decides something, district courts have to follow it. Similarly at the state level, the way precedents work. If the Supreme Court has ruled on something, the appeals court, superior, and district courts would have to follow. In North Carolina, if the appeals court has ruled on something, that sets a precedent that must be followed by the superior and district courts. So that's how precedents work. This is the way jurisdiction flows over here in North Carolina and here in our federal court system. Hope that was clear. If you have questions, follow up with me in class, watch the video again, do external research, and we will work more on this tomorrow.